At this time, I'd like to introduce Chief Fire Coordinator Joe Lehman. Joe is he's a great guy when you need him to come and help you. We like it when he comes to these events. If we happen to have a large incident, he comes to assist the chief officers in any way he can. And we're glad he's here today. He's going to help us with our remembrance of 9/11/2001. Chief Lehman.
Thanks, Doug. I want to thank each of you for allowing me to have the honor of speaking to you on such an important day. We're here not only to commend and dedicate this beautiful facility, but we're also here to remember our brothers and sisters that gave it all 9 years ago today. So it's an important day for us. It's a great day for Mansfield Township, the Franklin Fire Company, but it's an important day for us in the fire service to remember those folks. We're here to dedicate the fire station. As I said earlier, Doug mentioned that you had 150 years of tradition here in the fire service. The fire station, though, is much more than most folks believe it is. It's not just to house the fire apparatus, but a lot of things go on here. The public side of the fire service typically is you see the fire trucks racing to the scene, and they get out there, they do the things in a professional manner, they save the lives, protect the property, knock the fire down, and do what they can. And to the public, I believe most of the folks say, well, that just happens, but it doesn't. It takes a lot of preparation, a lot of planning, a lot of commitment from the membership, and what the public sees is probably less than 25% of the commitment that these folks here put in on a day-to-day basis. And that's why the fire station is such an important part of allowing them to be able to do their jobs. 75% of the things that they do are behind the closed doors here that you don't see. The meetings, the exercising, the planning, and the constant reviewing of standard operating procedures and guidelines, and those types of things are typically done within the walls of this fire station here. And having a facility like this allows them to service the community better. And it's an important thing. And again, as I said before, because they have much of their effort is done behind closed doors, it allows them to service you better. And they not only do their housing the fire trucks and keeping them out of the weather and everything, but it's a repair shop, it's a second home, it's a learning center, it's all those things all wrapped up into one, and it's very important that they have a good facility to do that. Okay, I appreciate that, as Doug said earlier, is that the Franklin Fire Company services your community, but it also services the greater Burlington County area. There's no fire department in East Burlington County that can function without their neighbors. So they're part of a bigger operation than just Mansfield Township. They're part of a county plan and a statewide plan, and they actively participate in that. And I certainly appreciate all their efforts. I've worked with their chiefs for the last 15 or so years, and it's been an absolute pleasure, and I know the dedication and the professionalism that the Franklin Fire Company is part of, and I'm proud to work with it. We're also here to remember what occurred 9 years ago. And for me, that day was a very moving experience, and in preparation for coming today to speak to you, I was watching the History Channel and reliving, if you will, the events of 9/11/2001. And hearing those stories of the firefighters who, knowing they're entering into the World Trade Center towers, knowing that they were going to their death. They knew it. Okay, we heard stories after the fact, and we just heard a story about Ladder 6, who by some miracle was saved by getting into a stairwell that protected them when the buildings collapsed. But they thought they were dying that day, and they thought that they were dying when they entered that building, but they knew they had a job to do. they knew that whatever efforts that they did were going to save lives, and they truly did. When those towers went down, and we all witnessed it on the television, we were watching it, those towers went down, I knew we lost our brothers. And I knew it, there's no question about that, because we knew that they were up there. However, I also knew that there was still a lot of folks in there, citizens that were just happened to be going to work that day, and when those towers came down, they were unfortunately trapped in a situation they never dreamed they'd be in. And knowing the thousands and thousands of people that could have been in that building that day, to only lose, and it's a big number, but we lost 1,252 or 1,272 folks that day in that building. I thought it would have been in the tens of thousands, and those buildings crashed. So it was all the efforts of our brothers and sisters in public safety, the fire service that went in there, in addition to the stories you hear about the civilians that helped each other, that saved a lot of folks that day. They certainly did. The 343, we can never forget those folks. It's important that we in the fire service remember that. But the other thing that I do want to share with you today is something that I think of when I think of 9/11 is the aftermath of that. We had Americans doing what Americans do, and we all came together. We put aside our differences, our political affiliations, whatever you want to call it, came together to help each other. And that was a good feeling that day. I mean, it was tragic and everything else, but we saw everybody put aside their personal issues and come to the aid of others that day. And I felt good about that. I still feel good about thinking about how the firefighters did what they did, knowing what they were facing. So it's important that as we go forward, as we in the fire service go forward, we remember those 343 and all the other folks that have died in line of duty. And by their commitment, we need to press forward and do our jobs better in remembrance of those folks. And that's why we have to continue to remember 9/11. Fire service took a beating that day. We lost 343 of our own. But in their honor, we're going to continue to move forward. So tying that in with what we're doing today and dedicating this building, we are moving forward. We have a nice new facility here. It's beautifully done. Thank you to your elected officials working with your fire department here to come together and put this thing together. It's truly a remarkable facility, and it's fitting that we do this today and move forward. So with that, I just want to thank you. It's been an honor for me to be part of your dedication ceremonies, and God bless and be safe, and God bless America.
Thank you, Chief. Next chief to speak will be Chief Goodenough. Come on up, Doug.
I promise I'll be short. It's great and it's an honor to serve the community. We've had some growing pains in the past few years. We've all had them, and to give us a facility that is as nice as this is, we understand that our township is 100% behind us, and we appreciate it. We're 100% behind you. The group of people on my left, I can't even describe the amount of time, effort, and dedication they put into this facility, keeping it looking as nice as it does a year later. Everybody was to the T. You couldn't have asked for more, working together to make this day the best that we could have. Our township committee, we appreciate everything they give us. The former committee that worked with us on the building, Chief Sean Gable worked with the committee on this building, helped design. And like I said, it's a great honor to be here and to operate out of a building that makes our job much easier